Welcome to my presentation on ATP and water. So what is ATP? ATP is the body's energy carrying molecule and therefore has the structure of a nucleotide, which is shown in the diagram below. It consists of the base adenine, a ribose sugar, and 3 inorganic phosphate ions, or groups. The bonds between the phosphate groups are incredibly unstable, and as a result, when they break, they release a lot of energy. So how is ATP created or synthesized? The process of creating ATP requires the enzyme ATP synthase, and the enzyme ATP synthase will join together a molecule of ADP with an inorganic phosphate. The reaction is known as a condensation reaction, and therefore a molecule of water is produced during the reaction. ATP can be formed in oxidative phosphorylation, substrate level phosphorylation, or in photophosphorylation, which is in the light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis. To summarize the synthesis of ATP is shown in the equation below. Hydrolysis of ATP is the opposite process and is used to break up the ATP molecule into its constituent products, which would be ADP and the inorganic phosphate. The process also releases a lot of energy. In order to hydrolyze ATP, it's important that we use a molecule of water, as the reaction is a hydrolysis reaction. So a molecule of water is used in the process. The reaction will produce a lot of energy and is catalyzed by the enzyme ATP hydrolase. It's important to remember, therefore, that the hydrolysis of ATP is the reverse of the synthesis of ATP. Therefore, the reaction is a reversible reaction. So some of the main properties of ATP are that it is an immediate energy source due to the instability of the phosphate bonds, because they can be easily broken, and therefore the energy can be rapidly released. ATP also releases slightly less energy than, let's say, glucose. However, the energy that is released by ATP is smaller, more manageable quantities, therefore helping to reduce the amount of energy wasted when energy is required. ATP can also be created from ADP incredibly rapidly, which is very important. So some of the uses of ATP include muscle contraction or metabolic processes, or during the transportation of molecules in active transport. For example, the co-transport of glucose in the ileum. So onto water now. So what are the main properties and characteristics of water? Water has hydrogen bonding, which is the strongest type of intermolecular force of attraction, thus giving water incredibly high boiling points. This is important because it means that water is often a liquid at room temperature, therefore providing a great kind of environment or a marine ecosystem. Water also has a very high specific heat capacity, which is the amount of energy required in order to raise the temperature of, let's say, 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 degree, therefore allowing water to act as an important buffer solution which resists changes in temperature. Hydrogen bonding also causes the water to have a high specific latent heat capacity, which is important when cooling organisms down. And this is important, for example, when we sweat. Water also has the property of cohesion and surface tension, which is important, especially in the xylem. Cohesion and surface tension basically means that water molecules have the tendency to stick together. And as a result, this is important in transpiration when water is pulled up the xylem against gravity to help cool the plant's leaves down, for example, to be transported around the plant. So that's why water is incredibly, why it's incredibly important. Water has that property, as it's fundamentally important for life in plants. Some of the main use of water include as part of metabolism. So the hydrolysis reactions often require a molecule of water for each reaction that occurs. Water may also act as an important mechanism to cool organisms down, for example, in homeostasis. It also may act as a metabolite in which other reactions may take place, and it also can help transport nutrients dissolved within it around the body, for example, let's say calcium ions or sodium ions. So yeah, Thank you for watching my presentation. If you found it useful, please subscribe.